I was born and bred in Rockhampton, Queensland, and it was a mean cattle town at that time. I didn't escape till I was 27, and I then went to Melbourne and joined the exciting age under the God editor Graham Perkin. It was a difficult life as a foreign correspondent in a way. I mean, it was full of challenges. I covered wars and civil wars and coups and rebellions in places like Portugal, Northern Ireland, Afghanistan, Papua New Guinea, the Philippines, the Middle East. But the worst of them all was in Rwanda. I was there during the genocide period, and I was there when the rebel forces were desperately trying to stop more killing. I spoke to kids who had had their legs hacked off. I was the first outsider to the Natarama church massacre site. I had to be careful, I was told, as I walked across towards the church because of unexploded grenades. But the first thing I had to step over was the hacked in half body of a baby, and I walked into this church which was full of the bodies of men, women and children rotting into one another. The memories of things like Rwanda stay with you all the time. I was always a bit suspicious about the fact that people talked about maybe journalists need counselling to cope with what they'd seen. I'd regarded this as part of my job. This is what I did. You had to go to those places. You had to see those things. But I remember when I was coming back from Rwanda, I was transiting through Joburg, and I was in a hotel and I was writing a story on the Natarama Church massacre. And I glanced up at the mirror, which was above the desk, and saw that I was crying. So it never goes away. And it can still make me cry now if I think about it. One of the huge benefits of being a foreign correspondent is the ability to meet with people, that you've regarded as heroes. Two people stick in my mind. One was Nelson Mandela, who was a man of steely strength, a gentleman, a brave man. He was the heart and soul of the fight against apartheid in South Africa. Truly, he was and deserved to be a world-famous figure. The other was someone who the world doesn't know about. He was an Indian priest called Swami Agnapesh, who spent all his life trying to help the untouchables, the poor in India, and fighting to free the people who were the virtual slaves in the lime kilns of India. The media world has changed utterly, during the time I was in it and since I've left it. But I think there still is a basic need for trained, experienced, professional foreign correspondents. It's a social tragedy, the destruction of the structure of the old-time media. I mean, there were nasty papers and nasty television stations, but there were a core of very good papers with very well-trained correspondents who could go out there and put stories in context in the long term.